Hello everyone, it's Farkets here, and in this video I'm going to cover update 18, which is again called a small patch or a small update. I'm not sure why they're not numbering them, but they aren't. There's no spoilers in this video. Well, let's get started. Now, the first addition is that they've added skunks to the game, and the skunks can shoot their rear end at you. I don't know what this is called, but it says self-defense mechanism. When it hits you, it slows you down, you lose some of your vision, but you don't take any damage and you don't get sick, from what I can tell. Seemed like a bit of a missed opportunity here. You can kill them and trap them. You get one piece of meat from it. Also, when you get hit with the skunk stuff, when Calvin is around, he's got a new animation for it, which they didn't include in the patch notes. I think the spray should make you somewhat sick, even if it's just a little bit. Otherwise, it's just a 2-second negative effect, which is kind of disappointing. I still remember the Bear Grylls episode of Man vs. Wild where he caught and killed and ate a skunk, and he said it tasted like it was dipped in dog feces. It didn't look like it was very appetizing, but it doesn't affect it in this game. It's a cool addition nonetheless. Next is that they've added a small rabbit hutch and a rabbit hutch. This is for holding and breeding rabbits. Now, the small rabbit hutch, that just holds 2 rabbits. You can't breed with them. They're just for temporary holding rabbits, probably until you can get a rabbit hutch up. So when you capture a rabbit now in a small animal trap, it doesn't kill it like all the other animals that it captures. Instead, it will hold it, and then you got to pick it up and put it in one of these hutches. And in the hutches, they've got a pile of leaves that you need to stock up. Holds 12. I think rabbits would prefer grass, but saves them adding a new item. Then again, I live in a place that where having a rabbit is a $5,000 fine. So I don't really know much about them. I also noticed a white rabbit. I don't remember a white one existing. Could be wrong. I don't know if it's new. The small rabbit hutch only holds 2 and the big one holds 6. And if you got 2 or more in the big rabbit hutch, they will breed, and they need food for it too. I found out if you don't have food in the rabbit hutches, they will eventually die. Now, how they breed is the same as the forest, I believe, which is there's a percentage chance of them breeding every time you sleep. Based on the small amount of tests I did, it seems to be around 10 to 20%. Keeping rabbits long term like the forest probably isn't ideal because you need to keep feeding them. Still a cool addition nonetheless. It's very much like the forest but expanded upon. I haven't tested how this works in winter, by the way. I'm not sure if it would affect it, you never know. The next thing is that creepy attack parties will now be sent towards the plating structure instead of the player. This is for item plating or armor plating. 2 creepy waves will be sent. It used to go for the player, but now goes for the structure, which is excellent, which means it's going to make it easier for players to defend. They'll be able to place the defensive structures around the plating structure. Didn't make sense that they were chasing down the player. I mean, it kind of did, but it wasn't the player that drawed them out in the first place. Next is that the Scarecrow will now prevent eagles and seagulls from grabbing food or landing nearby. This structure has been in the game since the game has been released over a year ago, and it had no use, and it used 4 duct tape, which is quite a lot. I spawned in fish to see how they'll actually react. Seagulls come down and nibble on the fish but don't actually make the fish disappear or anything like that. Eagles will swoop down and pick up the fish and carry it away a short distance and start eating it. Whether they completely eat it, I'm not sure. But if you go over to where the eagle is, it scares it away and you can get your fish back. I did tests with a drying rack as well. They do come down to the racks where the fish are, but they don't take them. I think this is more of like a realism thing, but not at the same time. Because they don't take the fish, your food's 100% safe. Where a Scarecrow might be actually helpful is if Calvin is fishing, he drops the fish right next to him. Eagles will come by and swing and pick that up and take it with them. I hope they expand upon this. Otherwise, it just seems a bit disappointing. Realistically, they would take your fish if you're not protecting them. Next is that they improve the cannigal culling ranges when viewed with the binoculars. Basically what this means is that if you go up to a camp and you can't see them and you use binoculars, they will render in. But as soon as you don't, they render out. So it could be good for scouting out cannibal villages to know if there's enemies there. What is weird about this though, is that it doesn't work for mutants or puffies. I don't know about the mutants themselves, but I'm assuming it doesn't work. The binoculars have a very short range of zoom, which is a little bit disappointing. I think it's cool that they actually have a proper use though I feel like the use is quite limited. Next is that they improved deer and moose dynamic avoidance. This is one of those vague changes where I don't know if this actually makes it easier or harder to hit the deer. But this deer took a whole spear and it was still alive for ages. And avoidance, does that mean that they're more likely to avoid spears or shots from a bow? Or is this just chasing them down? Or does it make it easier or harder to chase them through the woods when there's trees in the way? On this footage here, I don't have trees in the game. I'm not sure. Though I tested out the crossbow and that killed a moose in one shot quite a few times. So if you're hunting, maybe consider getting good with a crossbow. The only problem with the crossbow is that you can only carry 10 bolts. But you could really stack up on meat with this. Yeah, but I don't really know what this change means. Probably a good thing. Next is that they fixed an issue with storage sometimes losing items when full, and fixed a duping issue when adding items to storage. I don't know anything about these two things. I haven't actually been able to play the game since it's been in full release, and it's been in full release for over a month now. Next wasn't listed, but I noticed a flare guy standing up, and when I went over to him, he fell down and died. I hadn't seen this one. This must be a new one. I don't know if it was mentioned in the last update. I got no idea. Just thought I'd show it. And next is just the rest of the patch notes. There's some fixes and such. Nothing really stands out. They said they improved some animations. They don't actually mention what animations they improved. There's one in there like fixed rabbits not being saved on load if caught in a trap, so that can be kind of handy, and some other fixes as well. But yes, that's it. I haven't been keeping up to date with the game, so I don't know where the game's at, even if there's a timer on the updates. I do wish they would number their updates. They had a good system, and I feel like they're messing with it. But oh well, maybe there's a reason for it. Anyway, this is a good update. Shows that they're still working on the game, regardless of it being in full release. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.